And I'm going to take this from the perspective of the dude that's near 50 years old, that's done a lot of heavy lifting, power training. I've fallen off my bike. I've raced down the hill on my snowboard at ridiculous speeds and ate shit. I've been in car accidents. I've done a lot of stupid shit to my body over the years, unfortunate stuff that's created issues for me. Plus, things slow down. My joints are worn out now. They're tired. I'm tired. I don't recover the same as I did, despite all the things that I do to mitigate that. There are still challenges. And so one of the things I drives me nuts when I see these younger coaches, particularly male coaches working with male clients, is, they'll get to, like, we've talked about work structuring our upper body workouts, and they get straight into the bench press. Right. And like, oh, we're going to start with the bar, and then we're going to throw the 130, then we're going to throw, plates on, and then we're just going to we're going to build up. We're going to do our build set there. I have to tell you guys, so for you younger guys that don't fucking get this shit, you doing that to an old man like me, that shit fucking hurts. It hurts, man. Like, I'm not ready for that. Not that I can't bench press. I can get out there and bench press. And I can, reasonably, I can say I could probably bench press more than any of the coaches here at any given day on any time.
I could agree
right?
with that.
So it's not that I don't have the strength to do that. Yeah. It's what it does to my body when I do it, because I just mechanically, my body doesn't work the same. And from a resiliency perspective, it isn't quite the same. So my point to this is very similar to you, Jeff. I spend a lot of time before ever doing anything on my upper body day, warming up my entire body. Like I try to get loose, and that it looks very geriatric at the beginning. I'm just kind of slowly moving and finding out where my tight spots are for the day. The ones that I already knew about, but the ones that might be lingering from my previous workout or from whatever previous activity I was involved in. If I had a long day on the shooting range, that certainly impacts me the next day. If I had a day on the bike, or, even just like driving, those type of things impact how I'm going to approach the next steps. But it starts out with very slow total body movement. I will work through some of the shoulder cars type movements if I'm up top, thoracic movements, to wake things up, to lube stuff up, right? To start to get that synovial fluid moving through my joints so that I am in a position to now start to load, right? And it's like you're oiling the squeaky wheel, right? In doing those things. So I'll take it very slowly. And then I don't move into the big, again, like bench press or even dumbbell movements first. I actually back off and try to do a little bit more isolated, specific movement. Like I like to start with if I'm working like a push day, I'll start with like a chest fly to kind of warm up the chest, but then I'll do what you mentioned, CeCe, there is I'll make sure I'm getting lots of pulling. So if I did 10 chest flies as a warm up, I'm doing 20 reps of some type of maybe vertical plus horizontal pulling to get my scaps working and basically those shoulder mechanics working in the way I need to. And I'm trying to stay very, very in touch from an intention perspective of what is happening there before I then move into more of a challenging, more traditional push. And to your points, I don't do flat bench anymore. I don't even do flat dumbbell bench anymore. It's uncomfortable for me. Both labrums are torn. The biceps tendons are, to your point, CeCe, get very fired up very quickly if I'm not careful from an overuse perspective. My elbows from gripping and things over years, like they get fired up. So I take the time to really walk through some of the real more basic stuff. I don't use flies as a primary movement. I use it as a warm up movement, also activation movement. Before then I move into maybe heavier incline dumbbell chest press on the slide incline, as you mentioned. My push-up movements, or my combination of, more contrast from like a big weighted movement to maybe even more of an explosive movement, but not until I'm confident that my body knows what's going on and I've primed it, for lack of a better term, for the movements that I'm about to take it into. So this might not just apply to the old guys like me, right? I think this can apply to a very novice lifter who isn't in touch with those shoulder mechanics or isn't in touch with what they're supposed to be feeling when they're doing these particular movements. So while the selection of exercises is important, I think the preparation before you start to do this selection of exercises is extraordinarily important. I think it's one of the most commonly overlooked things that are out there. And it's not sexy. It isn't generally sexy. I mean, sometimes I'll pick up the mace and I'll swing the mace around a little bit and people think that that's cool or whatever. For me, it's not really cool at all. I have to do that because if I don't do that and then I go to my heavy pulls or my heavy pushes, I'm feeling there's a consequence for it the next day. So that's how those things are. That's how I sort of approach that program. So I think for a lot of people, they look at their program, right? If they've purchased a program and they're getting a program from a coach or whatever else, and it's like bench press, right? And then flies, and then incline dumbbell press, and then you're moving on to your triceps, and we're missing the let's make sure the body is ready to accept that stuff, so that, as to your point, Jeff, like just doing the program doesn't get you the result, right? Just doing the exercise doesn't necessarily get you the result. So back up, understand where your body is, peel back the layers of the onion, what's important for you, and try these different approaches and see what works best for you, because there isn't no one size fits all.